Jake drives off the lot feeling proud, relieved, and a little smug. His payment is low, his car is brand new, and for a moment, it feels like he beat the system. Marcus drives away in the exact same car, but his stomach feels heavier. His payment is massive, his loan stretches out for years, and he is already wondering if he made a terrible mistake. At first, it looks obvious. Jake took the smart, stress-free route while Marcus locked himself in a financial cage. But the real math tells a different story. The trap of car buying is not what most people think, and the mistake only becomes visible years later. Over the next decade, one of them will build quiet, lasting wealth. The other will quietly set tens of thousands of dollars on fire without even realizing it. Let's keep this completely fair. Jake and Marcus both earn the same salary. They both have the same financial goals, and they both want the exact same car. A brand new $42,000 SUV. Same trim, same color, same dealership, on the exact same day. The only difference is the piece of paper they sign. Jake signs a 39-month lease. He puts $0 down, and his monthly payment is $426. The salesman shakes his hand and tells him he got an amazing deal. He gets a brand new car, full warranty coverage, and in a little over 3 years, he can just hand the keys back and walk away. Simple, clean, and totally predictable. Marcus takes a different path. He takes out a 72-month auto loan at 7% interest. He finances the entire purchase, and his monthly payment comes out to $780. That is $354 more than Jake every single month. The salesman does not need to say a word. Marcus can feel that heavy payment the moment he signs. On day one, Jake's bank account is safer, his monthly budget is lighter, and he is driving off the lot feeling like he outsmarted the entire system. But there is a fundamental difference in the structure of these two deals. Every dollar Marcus spends is buying him a piece of something. Every dollar Jake spends is just renting a piece of something, and over time, that distinction is worth a fortune. For the first 3 years, Jake is living the absolute dream. He has that new car smell, the latest technology, and a full manufacturer warranty. If the air conditioning dies in July, it is covered. If a sensor fails, it is covered. His only real costs are his lease payment, insurance, and gas. There are no surprises, no anxiety, and no large repair bills showing up out of nowhere to ruin his month. Marcus is living a very different reality. He is paying $780 every single month, and he is watching his car lose value in real time. The moment Marcus drove off the lot, his $42,000 SUV was suddenly worth around $36,000. By the end of year one, depreciation drags that value down even further. Meanwhile, his loan balance is barely moving because his early payments are heavily weighted toward interest. For the first 2 years, Marcus owes more on his loan than the car is actually worth. In the financial world, that is called being underwater. Psychologically, it feels terrible. Every payment feels like it is vanishing into a dark hole. Jake sees this. Everyone around Marcus sees this. And the verdict seems obvious. Jake made the smart call. Let's run the actual math through year 3. Jake has paid 39 months at $426. That is roughly $16,600 out of pocket. Marcus has paid 39 months at $780. That is over $30,000 out of pocket. On paper, Jake is winning by nearly $14,000. But year 3 is where the story takes a sharp turn. Jake's lease is up. He drives back to the dealership and faces 3 choices. He can buy the car at its predetermined residual value, he can walk away and owe nothing, or he can lease a brand new car and start the whole cycle over again. Jake does what the vast majority of people who lease do. He leases again. He signs a new contract, gets a new car, and locks in another monthly payment of $426 for the next 3 years. He is right back at month 1. The odometer reads 0. But the payment counter, that never resets. Now look at Marcus. He is 39 months into a 72-month loan. He still has 33 heavy payments left. It is frustrating, but here is the critical difference. Marcus has an end date. It is circled on his calendar. Every single payment he makes brings him one step closer to owning this car outright. Every payment Jake makes brings him one step closer to giving the car back and starting over. This is the fundamental difference between leasing and buying that the monthly payment conversation completely hides. One is a conveyor belt. The other has a finish line. At the end of year 6, Marcus makes his 72nd and final loan payment. That is it. He is completely done. The title arrives in the mail, and the car belongs entirely to him. From this point forward, his monthly car payment is 0. His only costs are insurance, gas, and routine maintenance. Jake, he's still swiping his card for $426 every single month. He is now signing the paperwork for his third leased vehicle. He does not even think about it much anymore because it has just become a normal part of his life. That is the hidden danger of leasing. It normalizes a permanent car payment. It becomes background noise in your budget, but background noise still costs you money. The flip has happened quietly, but it is undeniable. Marcus now owns a 6-year-old vehicle that is fully paid off and still holds thousands of dollars in equity. Jake has spent years making payments, and he owns absolutely nothing. No asset, no title, just a long trail of receipts. And from here, every single month that passes makes Marcus's financial position stronger and Jake's weaker. The monthly payment is the number the dealership puts in bold on the commercial. It is the number the salesman writes on a piece of paper and slides across the desk. What they do not slide across the desk is the long list of conditions and penalties attached to that low monthly number. First, there are mileage caps. Most standard leases allow you to drive 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. That sounds perfectly reasonable until you realize the average American actually drives about 13,500 miles a year. That means the average driver is already over their limit before the lease even ends. The penalty for going over? Typically 15 to 30 cents for every single mile. If you drive just 5,000 miles over your limit across a 3-year lease, that is up to $1,500 due on the spot when you return the car. It just shows up on your final bill like a surprise tax. Then there is wear and tear. When you return the car, the dealership inspects it. That door ding from the grocery store parking lot? The coffee stain on the back seat? The curb rash on the wheel? All of it is billable, and the leasing company gets to decide what counts as normal wear and tear. What you consider normal, they might consider a $300 charge. Finally, there is the disposition fee. If you decide to walk away and not lease another car from them, you are charged $300 to $500 just for them to process and resell the vehicle. You are literally paying them to take their own car back. These costs never show up in the advertised monthly payment, but they show up eventually. Here is where the full story comes together. Let's look at the scoreboard after exactly 10 years. Over a decade, Jake has leased 3 separate cars. Each 3-year cycle cost him roughly $16,600 in monthly payments. Add in the mileage overages, the wear and tear charges, and the disposition fees across multiple leases, and Jake's total 10-year spend lands somewhere around $52,000. At the end of year 10, Jake has no car. Or rather, he has a car sitting in his driveway, but it is not his. It never was. Marcus paid roughly $56,000 total to satisfy his original auto loan, including all the interest. After that loan was paid off in year 6, he spent approximately $8,000 to $10,000 on maintenance and repairs over the next 4 years of ownership. His total 10-year spend is roughly $66,000. At first glance, Marcus spent more cash, but look closely at what he has. Marcus still has a car sitting in his driveway. It is older, sure, but it is fully paid for and still worth around $10,000 to $12,000 on the e-house used market. When you net it out by subtracting the value of the asset from the total money spent, Marcus's effective cost over a decade is around $54,000. Jake spent $52,000 and has absolutely nothing to show for it. The wealth gap is massive, and that is just for one single decade. Most people repeat this cycle 3, 4, or 5 times over their adult life. Multiply that gap, and you are looking at a 6-figure difference in lifetime wealth between someone who habitually leases and someone who buys and holds. I would be lying if I said leasing never makes sense. There are specific situations where the math actually tilts in favor of the lease. If you are self-employed or own a business, lease payments can often be deducted as a business expense, depending on how the car is used. That tax advantage can erase the ownership gap entirely, making leasing the clearly smarter move. The math also changes if you insist on driving a high-end luxury or performance car. When an oil change costs $400 and a sudden transmission failure costs $6,000, out-of-warranty maintenance is genuinely brutal. Leasing keeps you inside the warranty window permanently. Leasing a brand new German luxury SUV is a very different financial conversation than leasing a reliable Honda Civic. Finally, if you are the rare kind of person who takes the $300 you save every month by leasing instead of buying, and you consistently invest it into an index fund averaging 8% annually, you could theoretically come out ahead over a long enough timeline. But let's be honest, that requires a level of financial discipline that most people simply do not have. Most people just spend the difference. For the average person driving an average car, buying and holding wins, it is not the exciting answer. Nobody is making viral videos about driving a paid-off sedan, but the math does not care about excitement. Jake and Marcus both walked into that dealership thinking they were making the smart play. Jake thought he was saving money. Marcus thought he was building equity. Neither of them actually sat down and ran the numbers past month one. The real trap is not leasing, and it is not buying. The real trap is making a $42,000 decision based on a monthly payment without ever asking what this costs you over 5 years, 10 years, or a lifetime. The next time someone slides a monthly payment across the desk and it looks almost too good to be true, ask yourself one question. What does this actually cost me when it is all over? Because that is the only number that matters.